Okay, so I'm going to make a video about people beginning in Thelema or Thelema, like things that I would have said to myself if I could wind the clock back like about 30 years or so, without trying to sound too patronizing. Um, First and foremost, tell people about it. Crowley says in his books that the aspirant to the AA must everywhere and openly proclaim his membership of the order and its principles, even so little as he understands. And I quote, because like when you're really young, you have a tendency to worry too much about what other people think. I mean, obviously, you should care what people think, because if you didn't, you'd just be an animal. But you shouldn't really care for people's opinions about your religious beliefs too much. So, for first and foremost, tell people about it. Because if you're trying to work the system and you're liable to be concerned about what people think, about people's opinions, about things that they shouldn't really have an opinion about, then it's going to stifle your work and your creativity. The other thing I would say to a beginner is that it takes years. I mean, literally, even the reading without all the other work will take you years, if not decades, to get to Adeptus Minor or Tiferet on the Tree of Life. And even then, the work isn't complete as such. I mean, some people can just race up to Adept in a few years, but for us mere mortals, that's not possible. The other bit of advice I would give would be to not to get into it for power. This is what I said in the Priory Hospital to a chap that was into Crowley, a bit younger than me, quite a lot younger than me. I would say seriously, don't get into it for power, especially magical power over other people. If you do make it to Tifereth and the state of Adeptus Minor, if you find a sunny spot, um, if you do complete the great work and you get to the state of Adeptus Minor, or a relative state of mind thereof, you'll find that your desire to use these magical powers pretty much goes away. When you're doing the neophyte work, I should state after saying all this, I'm not an adept myself. I consider myself a 3/8. That's a whole different conversation. What I'm talking about now is advice that I would give to beginners. The other advice I would give, especially in Crowley's system, if I was talking specifically to myself 30 years ago, would be to get a job of some sort or a career of some sort, because I've been on benefits for a very long time. And one of the main rules in Crowley's system is that you do not make money out of teaching this stuff or for doing divinations. You know, you're not allowed to charge people money to learn this stuff. And that is one of the biggest no-nos in the whole system. This idea that you have to be gainfully employed. So if I could wind the clock back, I would say to myself to get a job of some sort or a career to be gainfully employed. Because although being on benefits has given me the advantage of being able to spend time reading the books and doing some of the work, ultimately, now that I'm 47, it's left me in a situation where I'm pretty much dependent on the state to survive, which is a bit of a shame. Any other advice? The other bit of advice I would give would be to either stop taking mind altering drugs or limit the amount of mind altering drugs. Unfortunately, a lot of people that are attracted to Crowley are also attracted to mind altering drugs. I've met quite a few Thelemites over the years who have had some sort of drug problem, if you will. And I mean, Crowley himself kind of advocates drug use in his writings. I mean, even the holy books could be considered psychedelic in some respects. So, yeah, any other advice I would give to beginners? Probably the greatest bit of advice that I didn't stick to would be to keep a journal or a diary. The difference between a diary and a journal is a diary is more complicated. A diary goes more into details. A journal just sort of notes down facts and figures. Having a diary and a journal has more use than just purely um, magical or mystical value. It also has a great practical value to keep a journal. And the other bit of advice I would give would be to don't give up. You're going to find periods in your life where you lose the will to achieve and the will to, as Schopenhauer would put it and Nietzsche would put it, the will to power. It's bound to happen. It's happened to me recently, being in hospital for 2.5 months. There's probably loads of other little bits of advice I would give, but I think that sums up the basics. There's lots of technical advice I could give, but I'd be talking for a while. I just want to make a basic video. So that's my video for the day. Thanks.